Let's talk about something that almost never gets enough attention in weight loss conversations: sleep and stress, and how deeply they affect your body. Because if you're eating well, moving your body, and doing all the right things, but weight loss still feels hard, it doesn't automatically mean that you're failing. It very often it means that your body is under stress. And a stressed body does not prioritize fat loss. Hi, if you're new here, my name's Shannon, and I've lost 100 pounds naturally, and I've kept it off for 8 years. This is the Strong Journey podcast, where we talk about taking life one step at a time. Here, I share my ramblings about what worked, what didn't, and all the things I wish I knew along the way: the good, the bad, and yes, sometimes the ugly. Your body has one primary job, and that's to keep you alive, not to help you lose weight, not to fit into a certain size, and not to meet a deadline or a goal. When sleep is poor or stress is chronic, your body reads that as a threat. It doesn't know the difference between modern stress, emails, deadlines, caregiving, lack of rest, and actual danger. To your nervous system, stress is stress. So your body shifts into a protective state, sometimes referred to as survival mode. And in that state, fat loss is not a priority, conserving energy becomes important, and safety comes first. Your body becomes more cautious, and it holds on. It slows things down. It prioritizes keeping you fueled and protected just in case. This isn't your body being stubborn. Your body's not working against you, and it's definitely not broken. It's your body doing exactly what it was designed to do, responding to perceived stress by protecting you. Once you understand that, the question changes. It's no longer, why isn't my body cooperating? And it becomes more of, what does my body need right now to feel safe enough to let go? And that shift alone can change how you approach your health journey. Let's talk about cortisol, your main stress hormone. Cortisol often gets a bad reputation, but it's not the enemy. In healthy amounts and short bursts, cortisol is actually helpful. It gives you energy, focus, and the ability to respond to challenges. The problem isn't cortisol itself. The problem is its constant stress. When stress is ongoing, things like work pressure, caregiving responsibilities, lack of sleep, emotional load, financial worry, or hormonal shifts during peri and perimenopause, cortisol doesn't get a chance to come back down. It stays constantly elevated. And when cortisol remains chronically high, it starts to change how your body behaves. Chronically elevated cortisol, it encourages your body to store fat, especially around the abdomen. It increases cravings for quick, easy energies like sugar and refined carbs. It disrupts your blood sugar regulation, leading to energy crashes and hunger, and it interferes with your sleep, which then increases stress even more because it becomes a cycle. Stress affects sleep, poor sleep raises cortisol, and elevated cortisol makes weight loss harder. So when someone looks at you and says, just try harder, they're missing a huge piece of the picture, because no amount of willpower can override a body that's under constant stress. And no amount of discipline can fix a nervous system that hasn't had a chance to rest. Understanding cortisol doesn't give you an excuse. It gives you clarity. And clarity is what allows you to make choices that actually support your body instead of fighting it. Now let's talk about sleep. Sleep isn't passive. It's not just time off. Sleep is when your body does some of its most important work. It's when your body repairs tissue and your muscles. It's when it regulates hormones that control hunger and fullness. It stabilizes your appetite and your blood sugar, and it reduces inflammation and stress on the system. So in other words, sleep is foundational to how your body functions, especially when it comes to weight loss and your overall health. When sleep is consistently poor, everything starts to shift. Hunger, hormones become deregulated, so you feel hungrier and less satisfied. Cravings tend to increase, especially for quick energy and comfort food. Decision-making also suffers, which makes it harder to stick with your habits that you care about. And recovery slows, meaning that your body holds on instead of letting go. This isn't about lack of willpower. It's biology responding to exhaustion. You can't out-discipline poor sleep. You can't push your way through it. And you definitely can't expect your body to release weight when it doesn't feel safe enough to do so. When your body's tired, stressed, and under-recovered, it holds on. Not because it's working against you, but because it's protecting you. And once you understand that, sleep stops feeling like a nice to have, and it starts feeling like a non-negotiable for yourself. During my weight loss journey, especially through perimenopause and menopause, sleep wasn't always great. There were long stretches of broken sleep, nights with hot flashes that jolted me awake, restless tossing and turning, early wake-ups where my mind was already racing before the day even began. Over time, I started to notice a very clear pattern. On weeks when sleep was poor, everything felt harder. Movement felt heavier. My patience was very thin. My cravings were louder. And my capacity to cope was much lower. Not because I suddenly lost motivation, not because I stopped caring about my health, but because my body was carrying more stress. I was asking it to do the same things, eat well, move, show up, while I was already depleted. And instead of responding with progress, my body responded by protecting itself. Once I stopped fighting that reality, once I stopped trying to push through or judge myself for it, something shifted. I started working with my body instead of against it. I adjusted my expectations. I started prioritizing rest when I could, and I softened my approach instead of tightening it. And that's when things began to change. Not overnight, not dramatically, but steadily. Because my body didn't need more pressure. It needed more support. And that understanding changed how I approached my health from that point on. Here's the behavior change piece that matters so much, and it's often completely overlooked. When stress is high, your brain simply doesn't function in the same way. Decision-making declines. Things that normally feel manageable suddenly feel overwhelming. Simple choices take more effort. Emotional regulation drops. You're more reactive, more sensitive, more likely to feel frustrated or discouraged. Small things feel bigger than they actually are. And habits, even the ones you care about, feel harder to maintain, not because you've lost commitment, but because your internal resources are depleted. And this is where so many women turn on themselves. They tell themselves that they lack discipline, that they're weak, or even that they just need to try harder. But what they actually need is more recovery and more support, not more pressure. This is why sustainable weight loss isn't just about what you eat or how much you move. It's also about what state your nervous system is in. A calm, supported nervous system makes behavior change easier. A stressed, overwhelmed nervous system makes everything feel like an uphill battle. When you understand that, the goal shifts. It's no longer about forcing yourself to comply, and it becomes about creating enough safety physically and emotionally to change to naturally happen. And that's where real lasting change begins. Many women have been taught, often indirectly, but very consistently, that rest is considered a weakness, that pushing harder is always the solution, and that slowing down somehow means that you're giving up. So when things feel hard, the instinct is to tighten the rules and add more, to do better, to try harder. But the truth is, your body doesn't respond well to pressure, especially long term. It responds to safety. And safety isn't created enough force for intensity. It's created through support. Safety is built through consistent restorative sleep, regular nourishment that stabilizes your blood sugar, movement that feels manageable, supportive, and not punishing, reducing overwhelm whenever possible. When those pieces are in place, your body can finally exhale. And when your body feels safe, it becomes willing to let go. This is especially important during peri and post-menopause when hormonal shifts already place extra stress on your system. At this stage of life, pushing harder backfires while slowing down, supporting your body, and meeting it where it actually creates better results. Choosing rest, nourishment, and gentler consistency isn't quitting, it's listening. And for many women, it's the missing piece that allows progress to happen. Let me say this clearly. Prioritizing sleep and managing stress is not quitting. It is not laziness, and it is not an excuse. It's a strategy. Sometimes the most supportive thing you can do for your body is to choose rest over intensity. Choose consistency over extremes. Choose nourishment over restriction. Those choices don't slow progress, they enable it. You need to overhaul your life. Start small. Aim for consistent sleep and wake up times. Reduce evening stimulation whenever possible. Eat regularly to stabilize your blood sugar. Choose movement that feels supportive and not punishing. Small changes calm the system. Calm creates progress. If weight loss feels harder right now, it doesn't mean that you're failing. It may just mean that your body needs more rest, not more pressure. More support, not more rules. More patience, not more discipline. Your body is not the enemy. It's communicating. And learning to listen is part of your strong journey.